Psychics. Whether you believe in them or not, you cannot deny that some psychics or mediums have some huge followings. The most famous of all of these mediums in modern day would probably be Teresa Caputo from the Long Island Medium. Now for me, Jeff, I'm a bit of a skeptic in the same vein that the late James Randi was a skeptic. If you know, you know. If not, look them up. But in this video, we're not going to talk about whether or not psychics are real. We're going to go all around America and let me take you on a tour to some different psychics and palm readers and read some funny 1-star Google reviews. Quick shout out to long-term Jeff Freak Big Boy Benny for the suggestion. If you want your suggestion done by me, leave it in the comments down below. Also, leave a like for the algorithm. It helps the videos out so much. Alright, let's get into those reviews. Our first psychic stop takes us to Elmhurst, Illinois to Psychic Readings by Jennifer, which has a 4.6 rating on 187 reviews. It looks like that this person runs their business outside of their personal home. A bit of a strange choice. A quick fun fact about the city is that the guitarist for Cheap Trick, Rick Nielsen, was born here. So with that in mind, let's go read some psychic reviews. The first review from Psychic Readings by Jennifer comes from Lauren. Warning. My friends and I went to Jennifer a few years ago because she was highly rated, but nothing she predicted became true. Also, when she was talking about each of us, she was vague and it could have applied to many people. She makes you write a review in front of her as soon as your session is over, so be warned. Not all of these reviews may be accurate. After meeting with Jennifer, all I can say is do your wallet a favor and find another psychic. I do have to say, I really appreciate that Lauren gave it a few years before leaving a review for a psychic. You know, you never know, tomorrow could be the day those predictions come true. Let's read AM's review. I was so excited to connect with Jennifer after reading so many positive reviews. I called her as instructed from her website about a free relationship evaluation. When she answered the phone, she didn't even identify herself and her tone was abrupt and she sounded annoyed. So I explained why I was calling and she said, "You can ask one question." I asked her answer was so vague, it could have applied to anyone. It felt like she didn't even know what I was talking about. Maybe it was a bad time to talk, but her phone manners were off. Her tone was that of boredom, and a little rude, like she didn't want to talk. She did not answer my relationship question how I believed she would, for what is claimed to be this evaluation is on her website. I will not be doing any further communication with her. Oh well, better luck to the rest of you. That's a pretty interesting business model. They offer a free relationship evaluation, so you call and you can ask one question, they give you a vague answer, and I'm guessing to get more detailed answers, you have to actually go pay and have a session read by Jennifer. Interesting. Let's keep reading. Maybe I should set up a Jeff Psychic hotline. No, that'd be a bad idea. For now, I'll just read Irene's review. I went to see her about a relationship problem and unfortunately got scammed out of $700 for negative energy cleansing. After her reading was wrong about the outcome of my relationship, if she tells you you need spiritual cleansing, run, it's a scam. With that review, we peel back another layer of the psychic onion, and it reveals the next part of her business plan. She gets you into the building you need to get spiritually cleansed for $700. It's probably like a half-hour session. That's $1,400 an hour. That's so much money. That's crazy. Let's hope that Lori didn't get scammed out of that much money. Called late at night, answered and didn't have a pleasant attitude. She said she's not available. Awkward silence. So I said, okay, thanks anyway, and we hung up. In my opinion, that's terrible service. She didn't offer me another time, another day, or anything. Just literally let me not get any service and allow me to hang up with no hope for another time slot. It made me feel awkward and she didn't sound welcoming at all. Leaving a review because you should sell your business. LOL, awkward phone call, non-friendly tone of voice too. Thanks for nothing. Well, fortunately, it looks like Lori didn't make it to level 2 of the scam. I mean, the psychic reading. She has got the awkward phone call part. This place is just weird, but I have this sneaking suspicion that it's very successful. Let's read what happened to Mila. Big scam. I trusted Jennifer to help me with my relationship, paid lots of money, and every time I contacted her, I felt like she is too busy doing other things. She insisted to text her, but for the money I paid, I think she should be contacting me with information or directions. Please think before you pay for her help. On front, I lost lots of money. If this review will help someone to make better decision, then I'm glad to write it. Looks like Mila paid money up front to get help from Jennifer, but Jennifer just never really would follow through with it. And getting relationship help from a psychic, that's not the route I would want to go. So what did you guys think about psychic readings by Jennifer? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you do that, let's go to the next psychic. Woo! I don't know why I made that sound. Our next stop takes us to another psychic located inside of their residential building as we head to Lynnfield, Massachusetts, and go to the Psychic and Clairvoyant Readings. This psychic has a rating of 4.8 on 187 reviews. Located just 12 miles north of Boston, it is a very old city. You can visit the historic Hart House, which was built in 1695. That's just mind-blowing to Jeff. So let's go read some psychic reviews. Quick interruption, if you guys have made it this far, please consider subscribing. Most of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed. Also, quick shout out to some Super Jeff Freak channel members, Darth Jen, Jawara Hall, Steven, and Jake. Thank you so much. Alright, back to the video. First up for Psychic and Clairvoyant Readings is Talia. Everything spoken was a lie. They read your expressions and jump to conclusions, which were mostly incorrect, very fast and to the point. Completed the reading and immediately asked for money. Did not ask anything about your personality and had no small talk. Very impersonal and a complete waste of money. Would give it 0 out of 5 stars if I could. Talia was not lying. That did sound very impersonal and a complete waste of money and a complete waste of time too. Renee's review was less than a day old. Let's read it. Got a reading done my Tatum and she was not good at all. She gave me a 20-minute reading at her kitchen table. Nothing she said was accurate and she just kept asking me questions and then tried selling me on some spiritual healing. I will not come back to her and I do not recommend. The reading was only $45. You get what you pay for. Based on the Google Street View, it looks like this psychic shop is in somebody's house, but I'm not sure if that's the Tatum that this person's talking about. But yeah, having your future read by a psychic sitting at a kitchen table does feel a little impersonal and I guess unprofessional. Let's see what sort of experience Donatella had. Racist establishment. Visited the Hampton Beach location. My mother told me she was going to get a palm reading and the lady refused to read her because my mom has a heavy accent. My mom told her she can still understand, but the woman at this establishment said, "No, if you don't speak English, you're not going to understand me. It's just going to be a miscommunication. I can't read you. Go." Go.
And I said, "Get away from here. Get.
She literally kicked her out of the establishment because she didn't want to struggle to understand my mother. Mind you, this woman has a heavy accent too, so not sure why she was so bothered. This shop had no customers and now I know why. This person would rather sit and talk on the phone instead of accepting new customers. I told her she lost the business, lots of money, because my mom is big on fortune stuff and we live in the area, so we thought we had found a gem. I've never experienced this before. Yeah, that does not sound like a good situation at all. I'm guessing they don't want a language barrier because it's harder to make sure they make that connection in quotes with you so that way they can extract as much money as possible. Did I just say the secret out loud? Let's see what Craig has to say about this psychic. It's like talking to a mentalist. They are just very observant. It's the way you react to a question and facial expressions and how you dress your emotions, just things like that. I wasn't convinced. Honestly, that's a very good way to describe a lot of these psychics. They'll ask you questions, judge how you react, and they'll dive into those maybe more vulnerable situations in your life and try to get more money out of you. Like a therapist, but worse. A therapist usually won't charge you $700 for a negative energy cleansing like a psychic would. But let's move on and read Mo's review. Felt very uncomfortable, and all she wanted to do was clear my chakras for an extra $100. There's another example. A therapist won't usually try to clear your chakras for an extra $100. Did Darlene's experience go any differently? Let's dive in. Very generic, and all of 15 minutes waste of 75. All she wanted to do was sell me chakra services. Would never recommend. Was thinking Tatum was going to do reading because I read awesome reviews and got some other woman I don't even remember name. So bad. $75 for 15 minutes. That's $5 a minute. And it sounds like most of the time was spent trying to upsell a different service. This place was just terrible. What'd you guys think about it? Let me know, and let's go to the next psychic. Our next stop takes us all the way to the west coast to Beaverton, Oregon, to the Beaverton Psychic Reader. This at least doesn't really look like a house, but the person might still be living there, but it's across the street from a Home Depot. That's pretty neat, and it has a 3.3 rating on 41 reviews. The name Beaverton intrigued me. Where did that name come from? It was named after the Kalapuya village, Chakaipi, place of beaver, so early settlers adopted the name of Beaverton. So with that in mind, let's go read some psychic reviews. Our first review for the Beaverton Psychic Reader comes from Lindsay. Con artist, totally fake. Seriously, she got my curiosity at first enough to pay $300 for an appointment. When we met in her office, she told me absolutely nothing. Zero. That was accurate, and then proceeded to say, but I can help you for the low price of $2,500. Yes, people, $2,500. Wow. So the $300 paid for appointment got nothing whatsoever but her trying to con thousands. Shame on you is what I say to her. I hope you know how awful of a human you are to manipulate people when they are the most vulnerable. I hope she reads this. I feel sorry for you. To readers of reviews, please people do your research prior, unlike us. Very few people have true abilities. Most are like this sad lady. Would you look at that, we're at our third different psychic on a whole different part of the country and it's the same story. $300 for an appointment, and during the appointment they try to upsell you on other stuff. It's just about the money, not about the people. Shocker. Let's see if the trend continues with Kay's review. She stole $250 from me, preyed on my vulnerability at the time of my first and only reading from her. She left it with an unsettled energy. Never got back in touch with me after I asked for my money back or even credit to receive other readings. Just got conned out of $250, very needed funds. This is another one of those kind of sad reviews where someone was vulnerable, went to a psychic for answers, and the psychic preyed on that vulnerability to try to get more money out of them. It's just kind of really scummy. I'm gonna have to take a shower after this video. I feel so gross. Heck, these are so bad you might even have to spray me down with a hose like a dirty dog. But for now, let's move on and read Cam's review. After some extensive Google searching, I decided to try this place due to the high reviews. Booked an appointment 2 days in advance and scheduled for a 12 p.m. slot. Made sure to call a half hour in advance to confirm my appointment as I was instructed 2 days before. No one picked up the phone. When I arrived there at the scheduled time, the business had opened, but the doors were completely locked. After waiting around for a while, decided to call again. The person wasn't even on the premises and told me to wait as she was 10 minutes away. I was asked again what my bane was and what kind of reading appointment I had. I don't understand how someone can forget scheduling their own appointment 2 days ago so quickly. While waiting, another person showed up and said she also had an appointment at noon for the same type of reading. Relationship. So we were both really confused. So it seems that this person double booked herself via her assistant? Although I've talked to the same person on the phone twice. After about 10 minutes or less, I was told a few things, albeit somewhat accurate, and was suggested to find a different psychic who could read my situation better. Thankfully, I was not charged the $85 for this reading, but I've got to say this is one of the most disorganized and confusing experiences I've ever had. Definitely taking it as a learning experience, but probably won't be coming back here again. That was a long one, but that was very worth it.
That's what she said.
Michael, please. Please.
Get out of here, Michael Scott. At least Cam wasn't charged the $85, but that sounds very disorganized and very funny if it is the same person answering the phone that is also calling themselves their own assistant. Very weird place all around. Let's keep reading. And that next review comes from Kevin. Really wanted to try her based on her great reviews, but she doesn't have effective communication, in which I never got a chance to purchase a reading. Looks like Kevin went through the same thing that Cam did, except for the person never even showed up to do the reading for Kevin. At least he didn't lose out on at least $85. The next 1-star review comes from Scott. Bought the most expensive package, which included in-person palm, crystal ball, past life, and card reading for my daughter's 2022 Christmas gift. My daughter has called several times to set up an appointment and has been told she will get back with her and never has. The psychic also offered to do it all over the phone, and that is not what I paid good money for. How can you do all of that over the phone? This business is a total scam, unfortunately. No way are the 5-star reviews real. Stay away. That's pretty hilarious. The psychic offered to do all of that over the phone. Do a crystal ball reading and a card reading all over the phone. How impersonal. Man, this place is just terrible. So what do you guys think about the Beaverton Psychic Reader? Do you think it's a scam? Do you think it's legit? Let me know, and let's go to the next psychic. Our next stop takes us back up to the Great Lakes region to Dearborn Heights, Michigan to visit
Mama Tracy.
This is a psychic that's in like a little mini strip mall, and it has a 4.7 rating on 470 reviews. Not too many fun facts about Dearborn Heights. It's known as a bedroom community where a lot of people commute into Detroit. A quick fact about it is that it got its name Dearborn Heights because of its higher elevation to Dearborn. Neat. So let's go read some psychic reviews. The first review for Mama Tracy's in Michigan comes from Justin. Had a reading via the phone with a male reader about 2 weeks ago. The entire time I felt like I was getting advice on relationships rather than a reading. I asked some specific questions about my ex and things of that nature. I was told the car said I would never hear from her again. 1 week later, she contacts me. This is by far the worst and most least accurate reading I've ever had by a medium. Maybe other will have better luck, but I will not be wasting $50 again to be told I should go to couples therapy. Some of these reviews make me a little bit sad, like reading that Justin was trying to get questions about his ex, getting told he'll never hear from them again, and then a week later he hears from them. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but really says something about these psychics. The next review comes from Daquan. Not a great first experience. Seemed like she was just playing with cards more than she was actually doing a reading. The worst part about the not so great experience is that it probably cost Daquan about $50 for 30 minutes. Now that's a waste of money. Instead of wasting their money on the psychic, they could have bought a Nintendo Game Boy Color Tommy Hilfiger edition instead. That's an opportunity wasted. Let's see what sort of experience KB had. I went here asking for a love reading, and it just felt like a very generic reading, like those readings you'd see on TikTok, and 4 million people saying this is their situation. That's how it felt. No personal connect was made. Other readings I've been to took their time to connect with me and ask me personal questions to get to know who I was more. The lady I had at Mama Tracy just seemed like she was ready to go. Wouldn't recommend. Waste of $50. Another one of those cases where someone could have spent that $50 on something else, like this 25-inch Shrek 2 jumbo plush stuffed doll from the Hasbro collection. Alright, I'm done with the eBay jokes. Or am I? You'll have to keep watching to find out. But for now, we'll read Alexis's review. Had a phone conversation with Abby, and it was horrible. I've been going to Mama Tracy for about 2 years now and never experienced such a bad reading and never felt so cheated. She was all over the place and confusing. I called her for answers and she just kept asking me questions. Very disappointed. That's the point I was trying to make earlier with doing these readings over the phone. They can be just a little bit more impersonal and all over the place. When Alexis hung up the phone, it sounds like she was way more confused than before she called. Let's move on and read what happened to Regan. I used to love this place. Been going for years. The vibe was amazing. Everyone was nice. The psychics were great. Then I went to Earthlore in Plymouth and found out that Mama overprices everything. Things that are $1 at Earth were $3 and up at Mama's. The whole store was like this. I don't see myself ever going again, sadly. Really loved this place. Oof. I feel that one in my bones. Imagine going someplace for years and you go to someplace that's very similar and realize that you've been being scammed for years. Oh, that stinks. That one's rough. Let's see if Jess's experience was any different. Came here before and liked it, but I was trying to call to reschedule an appointment and the phone was not ringing, so I didn't know if my calls were going through. Did not get a message to leave a voicemail at all either, just silence. I get a call back and whoever called me back acted rudely saying, "Hi, we missed your 13 calls." and lecturing me on how my calls were interfering with another call they were on. It's not my fault, all I was getting was silence on their end and I thought it was some kind of issue, so I kept trying. I ended up just canceling my appointment altogether. I do not appreciate rudeness and will not give anyone my money who's going to talk to me like that. It definitely sounds like a phone issue on the psychic's end, but I don't know if I would have tried 13 times to call. How many times would you have tried? And what did you guys think about Mama Tracy? Let me know and let's go to the next psychic. Check your bank account because our next stop's taking us to Las Vegas, baby. Woo woo! And we're gonna go stop at Psychic Readings by Angie, sandwiched between a barber shop and a computer repair store. And it holds a 4.3 rating on 90 reviews. A quick fun fact about Jeff in Las Vegas: the last time I was in the Las Vegas airport, I got to watch an elderly lady's stuff, like her walker and everything, so she could go gamble at one of the machines in the airport. I wish she would have won, maybe I would have gotten a tip. But for now, let's go read some psychic reviews. The first review for Psychic Readings by Angie in Las Vegas comes from MH. Called her for a tarot card reading over the phone. She answered the phone as if she was a random person, not even saying her business name. I thought I called the wrong number, so I hung up and called again. She asked for $85 and only wanted Cash App or PayPal. She didn't even sound interested in doing a reading with the tone of her voice. It was already a bad energy and vibe for me. No thanks, I will never go to her. Good thing MH didn't spend that money, because you could spend that $85 on a 1991 factory sealed Steve Urkel doll. Now you tell me what's the better value. And while you do that,
Did I do that?
I'll read Kayla's review. Of all my years going to psychics, I have never had someone scam me. I'm really into spirituality, and it's sad to see there are people like this out there. I went here with a group of 4, and we went in wanting a palm reading for $85. Then, she tried upselling us during all of our readings. Basically told us the same stuff in different ways. She wanted to do a chakra cleansing on me for $300. I agreed. Paid her through Cash App using my debit card. She told me there was 3 more meditations to do once I flew back home, and to call her cell phone. I texted and called. No response. Please do not go here. Save your money. I'm guessing to lessen the blow of the $300 chakra cleansing, they're told it's actually over 3 or 4 meditations, but they never follow up those other meditations. They just collect that $300 through Cash App. Aw man, that's just a little bit suspicious. I have a few red flags waving in the air. Let's see if I add any more flags after reading Jocelyn's review. She was accurate. A lot of the things she told me were true. However, I felt as if I was telling her everything about me and she was just upscaling it to the psychic level. However, she showed up 10 minutes late my appointment, had an attitude on the phone, and tried to tell me she needed to do a quick cleansing for the dark cloud that's above me for $300. I paid $90 for a 20-minute reading. I thought it would be at least 45 minutes or an hour when she told me the price. Quite honestly, I feel as if I went somewhere else, I would have had a better experience. And that somewhere else could have been eBay, where Jocelyn could have bought a... I'm just kidding, I'm not going to show another eBay item. But for real, this place sounds like a big scam. They get you to show up, pay $85 to $90, then they tell you there's a cloud above you that needs to get cleansed for $300. Oh, my stomach hurts just reading that. I applied some head-on directly to my forehead. Head-on applied directly to your forehead.
Head-on applied directly to the forehead. Head-on applied directly to the forehead.
And now my headache is gone, so I can read Madison's review. I wish I could give her 0 stars. Please do not go to this woman or give her money. My BF has never gone to a psychic, and I wanted him to have a positive experience. She is a complete ripoff, and even came up to our car after we left her session and told us not to talk to each other about our readings. Please, please do not go to this lady. The fact she went out to the parking lot to tell them not to talk to each other about their readings should be the biggest red flag of them all, like one of those giant 50-foot like American flags, but big and red instead. The next review comes from Sheila. I have been to quite a few psychics, and this was the worst of them. I asked her twice how long I would get for $85. She said however long it takes. So therefore I was thinking it would be at least 1 hour, right? No. It was like 20 minutes max. My friend followed me was maybe 15 minutes. pretty much said the same thing to each one of us. Nothing was unique. Nothing was outstanding. It was plain, simple, generic. She was nice, but of course she had to be. She was getting $85 for 15 to 20 minutes. Definitely was a disappointment and a lesson learned. Another one of those reviews where two people went to the same psychic, separately, and got asked very similar or same questions. It's like there's some sort of game behind this for them. Let's see if that trend continues with Marla's review. She is a scam. My friend and I went to have a reading with her. She charged us $85 and told us both the same exact thing. She's probably doing at least 2 readings an hour, so that's $170 an hour to do these bogus readings with the same script. So what'd you guys think about Psychic Readings by Angie? Let me know, and let's go to the next psychic. Our next stop takes us south of Michigan to Oklahoma, to the Oklahoma Most Renowned Psychic, which is in one of those house-looking type psychic buildings. And it has a 4.7 rating on 115 reviews. A quick fun fact about Edmond is that former NBA player Ekpe Udoh was born there, and he made roughly over $21 million in his NBA career. So with that in mind, let's go read some psychic reviews. First up for Oklahoma Most Renowned Psychic is Christina. She starts off by saying, "You're an old soul," then asks leading questions so 2 minutes later she can say, "See, I told you this 2 minutes ago. This is what I'm referring to." I asked her if her dog was dead because it hadn't moved the entire time we were there. She took that concern I had for her dog to say that I've always been around animals. I'm an American. Animals are ingrained in our history. I'm sorry that Mary Peeler is retiring because Mary is legit. Don't bother with Linda. Well, this review is at least 8 years old, and as of April of 2024, Linda's name is on the outside of this building still, so that's not too good for Christina. Next up for this psychic place is Ms. Dyson. I've never wrote a review before, but I had to this time because I've never been so disrespected in my life. I called to ask more details regarding the chakra cleansing, and she got so upset that I didn't know much about it and says that everyone should already know what it is before calling, in the most hateful way possible, and was in disbelief that I didn't. It goes down as the strangest and creepiest phone call I've ever had. I don't know how this lady even has a business. What a weird way for the person that owns this business to react for someone to ask a question like that. I feel like that'd be like a very frequently asked question and probably a pretty quick answer to give, but to get mad at somebody who's going to give you money for it, that's a strange strategy. Let's read Susan's 1-star review. Went in for a reading and all I got was "you need a cleansing." The whole time was about how someone put a curse on me from the past. No reading, was just about how a cleansing works and the approximate cost. Would not suggest. Here we are at a different psychic that's just trying to upsell that chakra cleansing, and now this person had a curse put on them in the past. Do I have any curses put on me? And while I pondered that, you've made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, pat yourself on the back, and check out this video on screen if you haven't seen it. Subscribe for more, because I'm Jeff, and I want to keep you entertained for a long time. Alright, goodbye.